Lakshmi. Lakshmi or Lakshmi is worshipped as the goddess of wealth, light, wisdom, fortune, luck, beauty, and fertility. Lakshmi is considered the mother of the universe and Vishnu's Shakti, power, since she is married to Vishnu. Lakshmi's son is Kama. Lakshmi is none other than the female reproductive system and related organs such as uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, etc. Lakshmi's origin are found in the Sri Sukta part of the Rig Veda. Sri Sukta should be read as Stri Shukta. Stri means female. Sri means noble and refers to the germ cell. Sri has a restrictive usage only for germ cells, whereas Stri refers to a woman as a whole. Sri can be found in Sridhana, which refers to the belongings or properties of a female brought at the time of a marriage. Contrary to normal usage, Sridhana refers to the female ova, since Dana means seed. Today, Sridhana has acquired the ugly name dowry, and many innocent lives are lost for not bringing enough dowry to the husband's home. For a married woman, the husband's house is called Pugundavidu, moving in house. Puranic texts have mentioned that Sridhana has to be brought into the Pugundavidu. The uterus is a Pugundavidu for the germ cell called ovum, since it is released from the ovary, own house, and moves into the uterus on fertilization. The fertilized ovum attaches itself to the wall of the uterus and grows into a full-sized baby. The word Sri has also been found in the story of Durvasa, which refers to the pubertal development. Mistakes would have occurred when Vedic scripts were passed down orally. Stri Sukta may relate to the well-being and healthy maintenance of female reproductive organs and their functions. Because of this, Lakshmi is considered the goddess of wealth, fortune, luck, beauty, fertility, and the mother of the universe. Kama refers to sexual desire, lust, or the simple urge to be procreative. Hence, he is depicted as the son of Lakshmi. Vishnu, liver and endocrine system, is married to Lakshmi because the endocrine system and its hormones play a big role in female anatomy, especially during pregnancy and in maintaining the fetus in utero. Lakshmi is the daughter of Bhrigu, one of the Saptashis created by Brahman, and Kyati or Yati. She left Swarga to reside in Kshira Sagara, ocean of milk, due to a curse by sage Durvasa. Swarga is a place where Varga, descendants, are being created and refers to the procreative organs. Does Kshira Sagara point to the area in the brain that controls sexual, procreative organs and their activities? The said area may be the pineal gland, which plays a role in puberty. The fusion of the female egg with the male sperm determines the sex of the offspring. The developmental process brings about lots of changes in a human anatomy, and this may be one of them. Sage Durvasa is very closely associated with Indra, who is considered a part of the male procreative system. Durvasa means bad smell or odor and is associated with puberty. Lakshmi appeared from the milky ocean when it was churned by the Devas and Asuras, demons, on the advice of Vishnu. Because of this, Lakshmi is also called the daughter of the sea, since the moon also appeared from the ocean during the churning. Moon, Chandra, is called her brother. The moon crescent, sight of moon 3rd to 5th day from new moon day, little brighter crescent, is worn by Shiva on his forehead. There is a famous poem in Tamil which says Pitta Pirai Sudi. Pitta or Pitta refers to Shiva. Pirai means crescent moon and Sudi means wearing or worn. It might also represent the pineal gland which produces melatonin. This hormone affects the modulation of wake or sleep patterns. The production of melatonin is stimulated by darkness uninhibited by light. The pineal gland plays a major role in sexual development, metabolism, and seasonal breeding. The pineal gland is large in children but shrinks at puberty. When puberty arrives, melatonin production is reduced. Elsewhere in the book, I have mentioned that full moon or Shukla Paksha or brighter phase is related or refers to female ovulation. New moon represents menstruation or the beginning of the menstrual cycle. The crescent moon may also relate to puberty since it will emit little light, shrunken light, compared to the bright full moon. The story, Churning of Milky Ocean, is all about the attainment of puberty when boys and girls come of age. Sage Durvasa's body order presence at the time gives credence to the story. The story also describes the physiology of orgasms in males and females. This is explained under the chapter Churning of Milky Ocean. Lakshmi is incorrectly linked by the current generation with money or materialistic benefits. She is also the goddess of prosperity, divine knowledge, and purity. As she is the goddess of prosperity, she is called Daridra Nashini, which means destroyer of poverty or creating purity, knowledgeable. Daridra means poverty and it also means flow because of the word Dara. She is also called Daridra Vamshini, meaning that she can create descendants of not so knowledgeable and impure generation. Hinduism considers the word Daridra Vamshini to mean one who opposes poverty, which is not correct. Vamsa means generation or family tree, and as such, she is the one who creates and maintains the family tree by giving birth to pure and knowledgeable children. In short, we can say that Lakshmi can create a pure and better generation, but at the same time, she can create an impure and worse generation. She can create both better progeny as well as a bad progeny. Goodness or badness depends upon the combination of genes at the time of fertilization. In the olden days, and even now, children are considered the true wealth of a family. Lakshmi is very closely associated with the lotus, Padma flower, and is called Padmavati. Lakshmi is always depicted as seated on a red lotus. Saraswati is always seated on a white lotus, the color of the human brain. Lotus or Padma is also known as Tamarai and is India's national flower. Its botanical names are Nelumbo nucifera, Nelumbium speciosum, wild, or Nymphia nelumbo. The attributes of this plant, lotus, have been fully discussed under the chapter Tamara, Daksha's daughter. Let us discuss here about the attributes of the red lotus with relevance to Lakshmi only. The place where Lakshmi is seated on the lotus is called seed head or seed pod. It is a flat surface with many cavities in it and it contains seeds. The surface resembles the spouts of a watering can. Some artists have depicted her as standing on the seed-headed pedestal also. But that may not be correct. The correct position is sitting, not standing. This is how deviations are created. The lotus flower is also known as Kamal. Incidentally, her son is named Kama, which means sexual pleasure. There is a plant called Kamaduti, Stereospermum sovalens, which is also known as Patala, Madhuduti, and Madanakamapu. Not many of its medicinal properties are known, but it may be relevant to the ovaries. The lotus plant can be propagated from seeds or rhizomes. Do these rhizomes, stems of the lotus plant, remind us of stem cells which are taken from human tissues? The seeds of this plant may remain viable, capable of germination for several years if properly preserved. It is found that the lotus has greater ability to regulate the temperature of its flower. This temperature regulation helps insects which are useful for pollination. Considering Lakshmi's relationship with the female reproductive system, the seed head resembles the cross-section of ovaries, where ova are stored and released one by one, month after month. These ova are preserved at the ovaries from puberty to menopause in a female's life. The qualities of lotus seeds, especially temperature control or relevance of temperature, can be seen in the ova and ovaries. Temperature maintenance is also greatly important for testicles to facilitate fertility level. This is discussed in the chapter Ganesha. Lakshmi's sitting position on a lotus flower can be compared to a chicken sitting on its egg for incubation. Incubation is a process by which temperature is controlled or regulated. It indirectly indicates that temperatures at the ovaries are controlled and regulated, and ovaries are also light sensitive. Normally, baskets of eggs for incubation are kept at darker, less bright places. Many studies have also pointed out that the conception and menstrual cycles of women on night shifts are heavily disturbed. Lakshmi's Vahana or vehicle is owl, a night bird which correlates to the light sensitivity of the female reproductive system. Since we are discussing lotus plants and flowers, it is pertinent to discuss pollination also. Almost all flowers engage in pollination, and it is an important step in the reproduction of seed plants. What is pollination? It is the release of pollen grains from one flower to facilitate it to encounter stigma, a female reproductive part of that or another flower, so that reproduction can take place. We are not going into much detail except for what is relevant. What we are concerned with here is the pollen grain called makaranda, magara plus anda, or makarandam in Tamil. Makara means crocodile, relating to Ganga, who in turn is related to the spinal cord and nervous system. Anda means egg, and andam means universe. Incidentally, the crocodile lays eggs and hatches them. Similarly, Ganga, nerves of the spinal cord, plays a role in releasing the ovum from the ovary periodically. The pollen grain of a flower is a male gamete, whereas the human ovum is a female gamete. By naming pollen grain as Makaranda or Makarandam, Puranic texts attempted to show similarities in the process of spinal cord and its connected nerves in male and female anatomies with their respective releases of gametes. In the chapter Kartikeyan, we see that he has a male peacock as his vehicle and a rooster in his flag. The male peacock is a symbol of both ovum and sperms. Roosters are a symbol of fimbria in the ovaries. Padma Purana is about and is associated with Lakshmi. The placenta of a fetus can also be compared and related to the lotus. The vertical system of the lotus plant can be equated to the umbilical cord of the fetus. Lotus stems and roots bring nutrients to leaves and flowers the same way the fetus gets its nutrients from the placenta. The lotus flower and leaves float on water just like the fetus floats in amniotic fluid. Brahma is said to have been born out of the lotus, which came out of Vishnu's navel, called Nabi. The placenta develops and enlarges into a fetus as the lotus bud blossoms into a flower. Physically, Lakshmi is described as a fair lady with 4 arms seated on a lotus, dressed in fine garments and wearing many precious jewels. The 4 arms are ovaries and the fallopian tubes along with fimbria, which is on either side of the uterus. The ovaries, fallopian tubes and fimbriae looks like jewels or ornaments around the uterus. Ovaries contain millions of follicles, and these follicles develop and release a single ovum every month for possible fertilization. Kubera, god of wealth, is the owner of all these follicles, known as gold or wealth, and he represents the ovaries. Hence, Lakshmi is always adorned with lots of jewelry, whereas Saraswati, brain and nervous system, is not depicted with any jewelry. Lakshmi's vehicle, the owl, Uluka in Sanskrit, is a bird that sleeps throughout the day and prowls at night. It stresses a connection to the pineal gland which is sensitive to light. The bird is known for actively hunting prey only in darkness. Most owls are solitary. The ovum or female egg is also slow moving and solitary when it is released from the ovary. The ovum travels through the fallopian tube, which is known as forest, and the travel depends upon the muscle movements in the tube. Some species of owl are specialized in hunting fish. The sperms are at times called fish in the Puranas. Having understood the true nature of Lakshmi, it is natural to have the owl as a vehicle. It is believed that Lakshmi, known as gold or wealth, goes only to those houses which are clean and where people are hardworking. She does not visit places which are unclean, dirty, or where people are lazy. These statements hold good for Lakshmi being money as well as reproductive organ. If a female's organ is not clean, or if it is afflicted with diseases or is malfunctioning, reproduction is affected. Shank or conch is attached to Lakshmi, and it refers to the uterus. The shape of a conch resembles the uterus. Conches are meant to be blown when a female conceives. In certain parts of India, the conch is not blown during Diwali. Diwali is celebrated during Amavasya or New Moon Day, known as the first day of menstruation, which signifies that ovulation cannot take place on that day. Shank or Sangha also means meeting together or coming together or joining. Thus, the uterus is a place of meeting at the time of conception. Surprise happenings. Surprise means acharya. In the uterus or shank are known as Shankracharya. Shankracharya is said to be the origin of spirituality. Lakshmi is also known by 8 other names, which explains her role much better in a female human body. Adi Lakshmi. Adi or Adi means beginning or starting. Human life begins in the uterus through fertilization. Danya Lakshmi. Danya means granary. Ovary, egg bank is said to contain the granary of wealth or gold. Dhairya Lakshmi. Dhairya means courage. Courage is needed for the released egg that must travel alone from the ovary through the fallopian tube to reach the uterus. The uterus is highly protective and also courageous. By shedding its endometrial lining at the time of menstruation and safeguarding the fetus at the time of pregnancy by expanding its lining. Gaja Lakshmi. Gaja means elephant. The uterus walls are thick and elastic. The shape of the human uterus will look like the face of an elephant, and hence it is referred to as Gajamukha, elephant face, in certain Puranic stories. Refer to chapter Kartikeya. Santana Lakshmi. Santana means children or progeny. Hinduism is called Sanatana Dharma. Dharma refers to blood, and Sanatana Dharma must mean bloodline or generations. In Tamil, Sandadi means lineal descendant. Attention is invited to Vedic texts which mention that Brahman has birthed 4 Kumaras, and they are called Katursana. The 4 sons are Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanadana, and Sanat Kumara. Kumara refers to baby or child and directly relates to the germ cells which are capable of reproduction. They refer to the 4 haploid cells split through meiosis. Vijay Lakshmi. Vijaya means victory. The uterus succeeds in holding the fertilized egg within its wall and maintaining it to the full term. Vijaya is a Sanskrit name for the cannabis plant which is used as medicine. Its botanical name is Cannabis indica. There are 2 varieties of cannabis, sativa and indica, strains of marijuana. Indica plants are short, bushy, can be grown indoors and mature early. Indica, good relaxant and effective for pain, nausea, muscle spasms, and tremors. Victory or Vijaya goes to the heads of many achievers and makes them behave strangely or arrogantly. Vidya Lakshmi. Vidya means knowledge and finds a place in another word, Vidyarambam. which is celebrated as Navaratri. It is also referred to as Vijayadashami, the 10th day of Navaratri. The 10th day from the new moon day, 4 days prior to the full moon day, is considered as the days near ovulation. Thus, preparation for the ovulation starts on this day and it is termed as Vidyarambam, which is connected to Vidya Lakshmi. Dana Lakshmi. Dana means monetary wealth. Dana means donation. More members are added to the family, which increases their capacity to earn. In relation to donation, Dana, it is also possible to donate ovum to another female. Is uterus transplant possible? In another context, baby or child is a donation or dana by the uterus, Lakshmi. Dana in Persian language means seeds, which is very closely related to procreation. Lakshmi is seen in two forms, Bhudevi and Sri Devi. Bhudevi is considered fertility and Sri Devi wealth, ova as gold, and knowledge. Ovary is wealth and knowledge. Fallopian tube with uterus is fertility. There are similarities between the female reproductive system and the structure of Hindu temples. The sanctum sanctorum of a temple will be situated deep in the campus, away from the entrance but aligning with the main entrance. The situation of the uterus in a human body is also similarly aligned. There are always time restrictions to opening and closing the sanctum sanctorum of a temple. It's the same with the female reproductive system. The sperm must swim along the vaginal passage, pass through the cervix and uterus to reach the fallopian tube for a possible meeting with the ovum. On fertilization, the ovum moves into the uterus and settles there. During conception, the cervix is closed by mucus and will open only at the time of delivery or expulsion. There are restrictions on people entering the sanctum sanctorum of a temple. It's the same with the reproductive system. All rituals and ceremonies that are conducted for the chief deity of a temple are supposed to be carried out for the fetus in the womb. A temple is called Kovil in Tamil. Kovil, ko plus vil, has a different meaning. Ko in Tamil means soon, korkapatta, and vil means bow. Thus, Kovil, ko plus vil means soon bow. Korkapatta vil. What is a soon bow? If female procreative organs such as vagina, uterus, fallopian tubes, fimbriae, and ovaries are sewn together, they will look like a bow. The priest or purohit performs purohidam, religious duties. Pu word is derived from the word purusha, meaning human being. Ro is derived from roham, meaning diseases. Idam means soothing or setting right. Thus, purohidam means the setting right of diseases of human beings. Thus, the person who performs purohidam is called purohit. They were the medicine men in ancient days. Nowadays, purohits only chant mantras, believing that they will be effective cures. They do not understand that the mantras are to be practiced since they contain the text of medicinal cure. We have deviated a long way from the letter and spirit of Vedic texts. Ekadashi, Vaikunda, Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the 11th lunar day of both Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight, and Krishna Paksha, dark fortnight, of every lunar month. Thus, there will be 2 Ekadashis in a month and 24 Ekadashi in a year. Among these Ekadashis, Vaikunda Ekadashi is said to be the most auspicious. It is also called Mokshada Ekadashi, on which day it is believed that Vaikunda Dwaram, hole or the gate of the inner sanctum, Swargavasal, is opened. This occurs in the month of Margali or Margashirsha, December to January, Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight, and is celebrated mostly by Vaishnavites, worshippers of Vishnu. There is a general belief that worshipping on Vaikunta Ekadashi would count as if all the other 23 Ekadashi days have been worshipped. Devotees throng to Vishnu temples on this day for darshan and to get the benefit of reaching Swarga. It is said that Vishnu opened the door of his abode, Vaikuntham, for two demons, despite them being against him. According to Padma Purana, Ekadashi is the day in which the demon, Muran, was slayed by the energy of Vishnu, and that energy was named Ekadashi. A boon was also said to have been given to that energy that whosoever worships on Ekadashi day, they will reach Vaikuntham, Vishnu's abode. It is also believed that the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna at the beginning of the Kurukshetra war took place on the day of Ekadashi. What is so important about Ekadashi? The stories relating to Ekadashi are, in fact, all about the functions of the cervix. Cervix is the narrow portion passage or hole, dwaram, between the uterus and the vagina. This passage is unique to the female anatomy, where it opens and closes at designated times through the secretions of hormonal interactions. The human endocrine system and its hormonal secretions are personified as Vishnu in Puranic stories. Vishnu, being the preserver and savior of the female fraternity, always comes to their rescue. There exist innumerable stories of these rescues in the Puranas. The cervix is kept open throughout the menstrual period. Thereafter, the passage is blocked by mucus, which is thick and acidic. This mucus is the infertile type of mucus which prevents sperm from entering the uterus. Around the time of ovulation, fertile types of mucus are produced which have high water content and are less acidic. It's a fact that it causes vaginal secretions and guides sperms through the cervix into the uterus. The cervix is kept open twice a month to facilitate menstrual discharge during menstruation and for sperm entry during ovulation. Thus, there are two Ekadashis in a month. The two demons from whom the gates of Vaikuntham are kept open are none other than the ovum and the sperm. The two demons may represent the secretions that are happening at the time of menstruation and ovulation, since demons are known as asuras, non-secreting. According to Puranic stories, the ovary is considered a place of Rakshasas, where demons like Ramba were living. Since Vaikuntha Ekadashi or Mokshada Ekadashi occur during Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight, they refer to ovulation time. The devotees who enter through the Swargavasal on the day and attain moksha are none other than the sperm. Swarga is the place where Varga, generations, are created. And this is none other than the uterus. During pregnancy, the cervix is blocked by a special kind of antibacterial mucus which prevents infection to the fetus. This mucus is somewhat like the infertile mucus which also prevents passage. This mucus blockage comes out or opens as the cervix dilates during labor for delivery. Estrogen plays a major role in the opening and closing of the cervix. Now, it is time for us to recall the slaying of the demon, Muran, by Ekadashi, the energy of Vishnu. Mura must have come from Latin root murus, or murum, or muralis, which means wall, or crown, or garland. Thus, Muran refers to the wall of the cervix and its natural softness or hardness during the menstruation and ovulation. Muran, Muradu, Murudan, Murandu, and Muranpadu are some closely related words in the Tamil language, meaning toughness, roughness, coarseness, stiffness, contradiction, variance, etc. These qualities perfectly fit the function of the cervix. The cervix wall is coarse and stiff during periods of non-menstruation and non-ovulation. The same cervix wall is soft and pliable during menstruation and ovulation. Softness and flexibility enable passage through the cervix, whereas stiffness does not. Let us imagine a situation wherein the cervix is stiff and does not open up during menstruation. The result will be disastrous because the menstrual discharge will stay inside the body itself. If the cervix does not open up during ovulation, the result is also disastrous because the sperm cannot move into uterus for fertilization. Thus, the opening and closing of the cervix should follow the natural order and should not oppose that tradition. This is known as Muran. This tradition of cervix opening and closing can be utilized for contraception by voluntarily closing the passage during the period of ovulation. The cervix passage can be kept open voluntarily during the period of menstruation and ovulation in case the passage does not naturally open during that time. The Puranic story has validated this by giving the name of a medicinal plant. There is a plant called Mura or Murad, and its botanical name is Myrtus communis. It is also known as myrtle. In Greek mythology, the myrtle is sacred to the goddesses Aphrodite and Demeter. Aphrodite, also known as Venus in Latin, is the goddess of love and beauty. Myrtle, dove, sparrow, and swan are also sacred to the goddess Venus. Aphrodite is said to have arisen from Aphros, a kind of sea foam. The sea foam appeared from the sea in which Cronus, son of Uranus, had thrown the severed genitals from the castration of Uranus, his own father. Demeter, also known as Earth Mother, is the god of grain and fertility. Every year, April 1st is celebrated as Veneralia, the ancient Roman festival of Venus Verticoria, goddess of love and beauty. On this day, Roman women are said to have bathed in public, wearing wreaths of myrtle on their heads like crowns. The cervix, the round opening of the vaginal cavity, resembles a crown, wreath of myrtle, on the vaginal head. Venus is known as Shukra or Shukla and is related to feminine secretions. Normally, the word dasi is used to mean manual labor or bonded slave. Sometimes it is used to refer prostitutes bound to temples in some parts of India, Devadasi, which is misleading. Dasi, as found in the word Ekadashi, actually refers to the functions of certain human organs. Dasa means tissue or muscle, and Dasi must mean muscle movement, which can be termed as manual labor since it requires muscle power to do the job. Eka must mean single, as found in Eka Danta, which refers to single trunk in the case of Ganesha. Thus, the cervix has only a single function, to open or close according to established anatomical convention. Thus, Ekadasi means single, one-way muscle function in human body. Accordingly, Duvadasi may mean two-way, Trayodasi may mean three-way, and Chatradasi may mean four-way function. Earlier in this chapter, it has been mentioned that the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna at the beginning of the Kurukshetra war took place on the day of Ekadashi only. What is its relevance here? Krishna relates to the functions of the human kidneys. Thus, the human urinary system is brought into the picture. Arjuna is the son of Indra, who is related to human procreative activities. Mahabharata is also an anthropomorphic story of ancient medicine. Thus, Arjuna may refer to male or female genital functions. In this present situation or story, Arjuna refers to the female genitals since the cervix is present only in female anatomy. Unlike male genitals, the female genital, called vulva, has two separate passages, urethra and vagina. Urethra is for urine discharge and vagina is for procreation. Since there exist two holes, it is known as duva, two, or duara or dwara, hole. Both the urethra and vagina, along with the clitoris, are covered by labia majora and labia minora, a kind of a lip. In female anatomy, the urethra and vagina are positioned in front of the cervix or uterus. Both the labia majora and labia minora are considered the two demons, Dwara Balakas, guarding the Vaikuntha, which is the uterus. What is the essence of a conversation? During any conversation, when the first one person speaks, the second other person must listen and should not interrupt in the middle. The second person can start talking once the first person stops. Therefore, the first person can start talking once the second person stops. This process continues till the conversation comes to an end. Interruptions in the middle of a conversation demean the purpose of a conversation. It is believed that the conversation that took place on Ekadasi between Krishna and Arjuna at the beginning of Kurukshetra war also adhered to this simple rule. In a male anatomy, there is only one single outlet for the discharge of urine and seminal fluid. Both urine and seminal fluid cannot be discharged together. Only one or the other should be discharged at a time. If urine is discharged simultaneously during intercourse, the constituents of the seminal fluid will be degraded. This will affect the possible pregnancy. Suppose seminal fluid is discharged while urinating, it will not only affect conception but general health also. Thus, the ducts carrying urine and seminal fluid in a male anatomy are two separate persons who meet at a place, junction, and must adhere to the rules of conversation. There exists a valve or lobe at the junction of the urethra and vesical duct which regulates closure. It will allow outward flow only, and if there is any inward flow, it will close. If there is a contradiction at this place, then there exists murran.